So the problem name is array partition 1. So we are given with 2 and integers. We are provided with the integer array, and the contents are like 2 times of n, and we have to make n pairs of the integers. Let's say a1 comma b1 or a2 comma b2, like this, and which make sum of the minimum of a1 of b1, a1 or a1, ai or bi. We have to find the minimum of all the pairs and create the largest sum as possible. So ultimately we have to create n pairs out of this, and such that the minimum of all the pairs, when we sum the minimum of all the pairs, then we have largest possible value. So let's say we have this example. You are given with 1, 4, 3 and 2. So we can pair like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to get the maximum sum possible. So here the minimum from 1 and 2 will be 1, and the minimum from 3 and 4 will be 3. So by adding 1 and 3, we will be getting 4. So I hope the question is clear to everyone. If you have any kind of doubt regarding the problem statement, please go ahead. Anyone?
Ashish, Vipin this side. So
Yes,
do
hello.
we have to create only two pairs? Means like if we will be saying, suppose it's a series of 1 to 10, so we have to do only two, right?
So let's say if you have like 1 to 10 numbers, like total contents are 10, then you have to create 5 pairs, and you have to and from all the 5 pairs you have to take the minimum ones, and you have to sum of all of those, and you have to like say the largest sum which is possible.
Okay, got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any more questions? Okay, fine. So I assume there are no more questions regarding the problem statement. So anyone who wrote code for this, or who tried solving this, or have some approach to solve?
Hi Ashish.
Hello.
Hi Nidhi this side. So I was looking at the question and it just hit me that would sorting the array would solve my problem. Um, yeah, just thinking on the same lines. Like if I have 10 random numbers and I sort them and I just start making the pairs from the beginning itself, like the zeroth index, then first index, and then similarly the next pair would be the third index and fourth index, so something like that. And the minimum of them would be the alternate numbers only, like 1, 3, 5, 7, something like that.
Yeah,
um,
exactly. So I did somewhat like that only. I sorted the array, and then
mhm.
I got the like it founded the minimum of first 2 elements, then the third and fourth, then fifth and sixth, and then
Yeah,
added everyone. So,
yeah, do you think that's the right approach? I mean, did it give
the first intuition that I got was this only. So
yeah, okay.
there can be other approaches, but
Hmm.
this was my first intuition.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, Yash this side.
Hello, Yash.
Yeah, I think after sorting the array, we can choose the alternate numbers and sum them
Yeah,
all
yeah,
together.
yeah. We can select the alternate numbers despite of selecting the minimum of first two, third, fourth. We can just select the alternate ones.
Yeah, that's going to waste our time only to
Yeah,
select two numbers at
yeah.
a time. Can we use the priority queue somehow?
Because yeah, we can use priority queue, but ultimately we have to iterate over the array again. So we have to iterate over the array, then we have to insert in the priority queue. So it will take like O of n for the iteration.
I
What
tried
would
it
be
with
the, what
priority.
would be the time complexity if we use the priority queue?
Yeah, for the time complexity purpose, like priority will be much better, because if you're sorting this, then definitely n log n is time complexity.
No, if you're sorting it's n log n, if you're using priority queue, then what is the time complexity?
Then it will be big O of n, right? Because we will be just pushing it into the priority queue. Okay.
Each insert into priority queue takes log n time, right? Wouldn't it be again n log n only?
Yeah, it takes log n.
Okay, yeah, it will be log, and then it will be same as like the sorting one.
Just a follow up on this. Can we do it in log n time? Sorry, n complexity with constant space.
Okay. I couldn't think of like with just big O of n. Like, is it possible to do with this?
Yeah, so if you have a constant shift, that probably lies in the range of input that you have. So I hope you guys have heard about the counting sort.
Okay, yeah.
So we know the maximum range of integers in this is minus 10,000 to plus 1,000, which will give me a maximum integer set of, or the value domain set of 20,000. Right?
Okay.
So we can do one pass, just have the numbers put into the counting sort array, and then every time, and you have to iterate over the this 20,000 loop and then find out alternate numbers. So if you have suppose 1 5 times, so you will take up 2 times 1, and what's the next element. So instead of first sorting it out and then iterating it over to count it out, just assume that you have a indexed array and you're just finding out what is the second number, fourth number, eighth number, sixth number, eighth number, and sum it up.
Can you say that again? Instead of what?
Ashish, can I share the screen?
Yeah.
So if you have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7,
Mm-hmm.
and let's assume the range of numbers that we are given is minus 10 to plus 10 for simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know there's a size of 20, which is the maximum numbers that can lie in my entire domain, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can plot them out from 0 till 20, right? And
Right.
if I have 1, I'll just sum it up with the, the maximum number, which is like 20. So it'll give me, not 20, the 10. I'll sum it up with 10, it will give me 11. So the actual number 1 will be mapped to something 11. I'll have 11, I'll put it, the count as 1. 2 will become, 12 will become 1. I have all the entries, suppose, let me just, and I have 2 here, 2 here, right? So I'll have the entry which is at this place when the loop is complete will be 3, and then 13 will be 1, right? Just the frequency of numbers in the entire input array. Does it make sense?
No, hang on. I'm just
Sure.
trying to
I don't
grasp.
get it.
So in counting sort, you basically you keep the count of how many times you have encountered it, right? Are you plotting this in the below
Yes.
line?
Yes, this is counting sort.
Okay. No, the below line, I'm just trying to see where exactly I do have 12.
Right.
times.
So our range of numbers is from minus 10 to plus 10.
Okay. Okay.
If I have to normalize it from 0 to 20, because that's the index numbers that I'll get from the array, right?
Right.
So I can shift all of the numbers by 10.
Okay.
Then I'll get a range from 0 to 20.
True.
So that's what I'm doing. So I'm shifting that 1 and I'm getting 20. Yeah, sorry, 11 for 1. If there was a number like -6, that would have been mapped to something 4 in the array index range.
I'll see.
Right?
Makes
Plus
sense.
10. Now what you have to do is just iterate over this one, and suppose this is 1. So you know the combination that will be created will be taking one element of this, which is 11, essentially 1, and the next element, whatever it is, like 3. Right? That's the combination it can create if we sort it out.
True.
Right? Now we know in any pair, the first number is the one which we have to take for sum. So we can keep a flag called as something like odd or even. And it will just keep a track of whether the number that I have to take is, so first time I get here, suppose my odd is true, right? I'll take this up and sum it up in the final sum equal to whatever is the number 1. Then I come here, I know there are 3 elements, right? And this is in the odd equal to false state. So I'll have to just take 1 and remove that, because that will not be, that would have already been paired with the last element. And the remaining will be 2. So I can make 1 out of it, and then I can use 3. So plus 3. Right? And suppose this was supposed to be an even, so I'll just make it an even array. Just let me keep 3 another here, and it will become 2. So at the end, you will have, when you move next, you will have 2 elements here, right? And they both will form a pair, which is both elements are 3. And you can use that and sum it up here. So at the end, you will have these numbers calculated, summed up based on, so essentially this is nothing but, you're sorting out only, but instead of n log n, which is for any size of the array, we are trying to, use a lesser space based on the domain, lesser time based on the domain, if we can do it counting, and trying to sum it up in the array itself, not creating the final array.
Yeah, makes sense. I think by taking leverage of given the input size, you can just
right. So its time
create
complexity
an
will
array
be
of
O
that.
of n, which is essentially the input array, plus O of, which is 20,001, and that's constant, right?
But when the number of elements given is very small, we'll be iterating over some 20,000, places for. Won't we be wasting time a lot?
Right. So in this case, it will not make sense. I'm just talking about, I just gave you another scenario that if I want to have it at constant. If your input size is in the range of, suppose, 1 million, then probably this will make much more sense, right? In this problem, it's simpler because they have given that your input size can only be maximum 10,000. So n log n will give much faster, much more optimal solution. I was just referring to a different variation of this problem if there are follow-up questions on that.
Yeah, that's a nice approach in that case, I think.
What was the last point? I didn't understand, because the actual break-even point for not choosing this is maybe. When do you decide whether you want to go for counting sort or you do not want to do that? What was that?
So essentially, it was if your input length is very huge, it's in the tunes of millions.
I'm interested in that only. Like, what is the break point? Like, when should I stop thinking about it?
It's not about stop thinking. It's just, another way of doing the same thing. In this case, the proper approach is, or the optimal approach is to go with the sorting one in this case, because it has a very small input size.
So is there, because I somehow remember like, Because essentially you need to have that much bigger array, right? Like for having counting sort. So if someone says you have to deal with a range of numbers which is in millions or billion,
Yeah,
then
if it is in millions or billions, then counting sort doesn't make sense. That's why I said for counting sort, you need to have very limited domain values. Now assume
yeah.
that
So I'm interested into that, quantifying it. Like I mean, till when when will it doesn't make sense? Like within a
So,
million. So why will the other solution be more
so what?
optimal?
Sorry. So what you can do? Try to plot n log n and kn, where your k could be 20,000. Depends on the constant factor. And when
Mhm.
you will plot them, then you will see like at one point of time, your n log n will start to diverge in a different direction, and that is your point you are interested to. You can figure it out
Makes sense.
mathematically. Yeah, try that.
Sure, sure. Thanks. Yeah,
And
I think I got it. Mhm.
have a question. What the purpose of shifting the number, from negative to positive?
Because
so
go ahead, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was, yeah, I was trying to explain the same thing you already talked about. So because when we define an array, our index starts with 0, and what he's trying to do, like how would you put anything in minus 10th bucket, for example? So what you are saying, my minus 10 actually maps to 0. So whenever you are looking at bucket 0, it is keeping count for minus 10, how many times minus 10 occurred.
Okay. What if
And
we have like 3 or 4 element value already at index 0?
no, so index 0 is now pointing to index 11, for example, or 10 maybe. So your mapping is changing. Like, go ahead and explain on diagram again if you want.
So let's say in this case we map to 1, right? What if like there's some value we have already have 1 in there? So we just count the number 1.
Are you talking about duplicates?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is an example that's already mentioned. Like for 2, it will count the number of elements. So the value of that index, let's say for 2 is corresponding to 12, and the value of 12 is 3 because 2 appeared thrice. Does that make sense?
No, I'm saying one number we shift from negative to positive, right?
Right.
Then there's also some value is already 1 on the positive.
Only one number is not shifted. All the numbers are shifted by the midpoint. It's not just a negative number, but the positive numbers are also shifted.
Okay.
So in essence, what we are doing is trying to map one index of array to have one domain value that can happen. So like we know the range of numbers is minus 10 to plus 10. I'm trying to map values from 0 to 20 to minus 1 to plus 10.
Got it.
Basically, it's you add 10 to whatever number you encounter, then store it.
So if the original value is 1, then you have to add 10 to it. It now become 11 because we shift everything up 10.
Yeah, there is an offset already, like 10. So you add it and then store it.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to Ashish.